The craziest conspiracy theory about Miss Ariana Grande is that she used to be tormented by demons and the devil and had to break free.
Ariana Grande has got a real problem with
demons.
Yo, dude, this can't be real. Tonight we're looking at some dark TikToks. Welcome back, Famity. Yep, I know. Sunday video. I never make videos on Sunday, but you know what I'm saying? We can call this a Sunday special. As you guys know, I've told you in like the last couple of videos that YouTube has actually been limiting a lot of these videos because of the things that they expose. So make sure to like, comment, just engage, you know what I'm saying, hype the video up just so it gets caught in the algorithm and get pushed to more people. Before the video starts though, I just want to thank all my channel members. It says around 80% of you guys are not subscribed. I had an influx of viewers, so if you are a part of the 80% that are not subscribed to the Famity, join the fam. Let's go.
If you own a cat and you've ever wondered what it looks like when a cat sees your face, this is allegedly your answer. This is an older video that was just recently reposted to TikTok. It shows this cat lying down. There's this apparatus attached to its head. We then see the input, which is what they showed the cat, and the output, which is what the cat is apparently seeing. Now, this experiment has been taken out of context many times. This right here kind of looks like a cat. So what people say is that when your cat is looking at your human face, they, instead of seeing a human face, actually see a cat face, when that's not really the case. This experiment was actually done by the University of California, Berkeley, and what they were doing here was reading the output of 177 different cells inside of the thalamus, which is a part of your brain. So they're trying to reconstruct what the animal is seeing based off of the signals given. Meaning this is definitely not 100% accurate. The sheer fact that they were able to get an image out though that looked somewhat similar to the input is very impressive in and of itself. I'm sorry, I know I'm probably explaining this very poorly, but yeah, this is not what a cat is literally seeing.
That was honestly the first thing that came to my head, was like, why does a cat see us as a cat?
You know you're made of aura when you could slap a hippo and get away with it. Let me tell you something. Meet the mandrill. This is the largest monkey in the world, getting up to 120 pounds, and they are not peaceful. Lion King lied to us. In fact, they're considered to be one of the most aggressive monkeys on the planet. It's like a colorful delete button. Not to mention those problems are rated E for everyone. They'll square up with leopards, hyenas, African wild dogs, and apparently hippos. But for them, that's light work. They come stock with an 800-pound bite force. That's the same as a lion. But not just that, they also have the largest canine teeth of any primate in the world as well. Those things look like katanas in their face. And if all that ain't bad enough, they also travel in groups of up to 1,300 members. That's the largest group size of any primate in history. No thank you. Moral of the story? Never mess with a mandrill. The last thing you want is for Rafiki to enter his villain saga. And as always, follow for more facts.
Recently came across this book. I was out in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. This book is from 1777. The name of this book is right here.
A book from 1777 proves Tartaria was real. Let's see what to write in this book.
It's the Universal Geographical Grammar. I'm just going to give a quick preview of this. Because there's things in here like, so here's the opening map. Here's the opening map of the world. And right here, Eastern Tartary. And right here is Western Tartary. And there's China. And what we'll get into farther back, it's going to be Chinese Tartary also. This is the doctrine of the sphere. Here is the artificial sphere. Because the world was coming from being flat and going into being a globe. Right here, you've got the doctrine of the globe.
Do you agree with this theory? Let me know in comment section.
The craziest conspiracy theory about Miss Ariana Grande is that she used to be tormented by demons and the devil and had to break free.
Ariana Grande has got a real problem with demons, she told Complex.
In 2013, Ariana Grande went to Stoll Cemetery that is so haunted that the Pope won't even fly over it in his plane. She talked about it in her Complex interview and it made major news, and she said right when she got to the cemetery, she had this sick, overwhelming feeling and was getting this major smell of sulfur, which is a sign of a demon nearby. So she literally left immediately and said an apology to the ghost, but not before taking a picture where she said she saw 3 distant faces in the photo that looked like textbook demons. The next few days, weird things started happening to her, like whenever she would close her eyes, she would hear loud rumblings and whispers in her head. She would see disturbing images with red shapes around herself. She was laying in her bed one night and she looked over and saw black matter on the left side of her bed and then watched it move to the front of her bed, and she couldn't move because she was paralyzed. Said she was screaming, crying, didn't know what to do, and then the next day she decided to cleanse herself and tried to swear them out of her life. Spotify used to literally list as a fact underneath her song Break Free that a part of her inspiration for making the song was her demon experience. I'm about to show the most compelling evidence, but before I do, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and request who you want to see next. In the music video for Break Free, we keep seeing this symbol, which is literally the inverted seal of Satan. This is symbolic for her because she takes it off, throws it on the ground, stomps on it, and then this man who's supposed to represent Satan has her tied up, and then she breaks free, pushes him back to hell where he belongs. This represents her moving on from the whole demon thing in her life.
First thing that went through my head is, what is Ariana Grande doing at a cemetery?
This is a real picture of a real building on a United States Navy base. So as you can see right here, this is the Naval Amphibious Base Coronado. And yes, as you can see in all of these photographs, this building was designed and constructed in a very specific way. So construction of this building on this base started in the 1960s, about 20 or so years after the end of World War II. So people were very well aware of what that symbol meant at that specific time in history. The guy who designed and the architect behind the building is a man named John Mock from San Diego. John was a famous architect from the area. He was brought in to design this building. And in a later interview, he actually said, yes, it kind of looked like that symbol, but it definitely wasn't intended to be that symbol. Now, for years, nobody complained about this building because you really couldn't see it from above. People passed by the building all the time and they didn't really notice what shape it was in. But when Google Earth exploded in popularity, journalists began noticing this strangely shaped building and started raising the alarm bells. Now, interestingly, the Navy and spokespersons from the Navy initially denied that this building was meant to be built like this. In 2006, a spokesperson said that only one of these L's was initially meant to be constructed and that the other 3 were constructed afterwards, and they had no idea that it would end up looking like this. However, records were eventually unearthed that showed, yes, they knew exactly what this was going to look like. You can see right here, this is in some of the original documentation, and everybody involved in this building's construction signed off on the plans. Now, one of the big things that's still unknown about this is why John Mock, a respected architect, would design a building in this way. Before his death, he never openly admitted to being affiliated with that organization, but you don't design a building like that without some sort of purpose behind it. I mean, it is blatantly clear what this is meant to be. And this is only one of many monuments and memorials to this party that exist in America that I'm going to continue exposing here. And they only get weirder and darker.
I feel like he knew the shape of it, but he just didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? Because he was saying that Google Maps and Google Earth wasn't really a thing at the time. So he's like, no one can see this, so it doesn't matter. But now that we have Google Maps and Google Earth, yeah, everyone can see it. So I feel like he knew, but he just thought no one was going to find out, in my opinion.
If you've seen this website before, you're probably in prison. This is the message displayed on the now defunct Welcome to Video site. This site was the figurehead of an international CP production ring. And when it was shut down, it had 1.2 million members. Authorities also tracked down 360,000 downloads that stemmed from this website of CSAM or CP materials. 4,000 of these paid members were identified, and yes, they were all hardcore. This guy was a local pastor who got caught downloading materials. And this guy, Nicholas Stengel from Washington, D.C., downloaded over 2,600 videos from the website. 2,686 to be exact. Videos depicting children being abused in the most horrific ways. By the way, this guy started a blog about wine that you can go online and read. And it's really disturbing reading his positive words knowing what he was doing in the shadows. So at the time that this website was seized, the owner had made over 400 million South Korean won, which equates to about $300,000 in USD. But who was the sick kingpin at the top of this hill? Well, it was this guy, Sun Jung-woo, whose identity in all the photos that have been released is purposefully obscured by the South Korean government. So Sun purchased this disgusting website in 2015 and ran it from his home. During his reign of terror, he distributed about 220,000 CP or CSAM videos. Users on the website could purchase these disgusting materials using Bitcoin, and Sun would often encourage people to upload their own content for fun. In a disturbing twist, 45% of the material that was found on the website had not been previously seen by investigators. In my math, that's over 100,000 videos and images. Now this is the part that's going to really infuriate you. So Sun Jung-woo, who ran this website, 220,000 videos and images that he personally cycled through to other pedophiles. After his trial, he was convicted and sentenced to a little bit over 2 years in prison. You heard that right, 2 whole years in prison for running a pedophile website with over 1 million members. The United States also tried to get him extradited to the US so he could face a number of charges and obviously get a life sentence. But the South Korean government denied this extradition request. Then in July of 2022, he was sentenced to an additional 2 years in prison. This time for money laundering because he used some of his profits for online gambling. That means that sometime this year, this guy is going to be back on the streets. Now, keep in mind, this is mind-blowing. Less than 10 years ago, this guy was up and running one of the largest pedophile websites in the world. And already, less than a decade later, he's going to be walking free again. Please make some of this make sense. This should really infuriate you. I just am so afraid of what this guy could possibly do when he's back in the free world.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A guy was rushed into a level 1 trauma facility from a motorcycle versus truck collision. The guy's able to talk at the beginning. He was drunk and cussing out the doctors and nurses trying to help him. They end up intubating him to preserve the airway and he's going downhill fast. He codes, but they manage to bring him back. Suddenly, the guy comes completely to, rips out his tube, grabs one of the med student's hands and lets out a breathy scream. "Don't let me die. I'm going to hell. Please don't let me die," he said. This freaks out everyone. The guy said he woke up in hell on fire and keeps begging someone to check his feet for burns. Nobody could believe he pulled out his tube and was talking. Despite everything they did, the guy still died. The doctors and nurses were freaked out about it for weeks.
This has got to be one of the strangest videos on the dark web.
This video is currently the strangest ever posted on the dark web. It was posted anonymously, so it's impossible to get any more information. It's been the talk of the town, showing supernatural events. But a detail at the end calls everything into question.
Yo, I love the fact that the Flash dude literally just walked away like nothing happened. Like he didn't just teleport to save someone.
What if I told you that me and you are dead? Did the world really end in 2012? Well, here's evidence that you've never seen before. Right, so starting off, this right here is the particle Higgs boson, which Stephen Hawking famously said when it's found, it could literally destroy the Earth instantly. Now in 2012, if you didn't know, this was the year that scientists did discover Higgs boson. Now here's where things get a bit strange. Now, let me know if you agree, but the world has been slightly different since 2012. Now, you younger kids in that, probably not going to agree, but literally since 2012, we've had all of these crazy Mandela effects. Like for instance, we all remember Curious George having a tail, he never did. There are so many examples examples of this. I've done tons of videos on it, but like everything's been kicking off, wars, it's just been crazy, like nothing good's happened. Now on to the next part. There is a lot of evidence suggesting that when we die, our life flashes before our eyes. And on top of that, our brain is still actually functioning for around 7 or 8 minutes after death. There is now concrete evidence of this. As a man who literally died, it showed that he had brain activity for 8-9 minutes after he died and was dreaming. So in this 7 or 8 minutes, if we have brain activity, that means there's still a way to lucid dream, or, you know, control our dreams. Essentially live in some kind of reality. Now we also know in dreams time doesn't really exist, but when you're in that dream, sometimes it feels like days or weeks. You know, I've had dreams where I've been in there for like a day, like it's crazy. So here's a theory. What if the world did actually end in 2012? None of you are real. We're essentially all dead, and this reality we are in is just a figment of our imagination. This video you're watching is just your brain imagining it and creating it, but you're actually dead on a hospital bed in that 7 or 8 minutes. No, I'm done.
Did you find it odd that when the wind is blowing at 100 miles per hour, that's what it looks like? But on a nice calm day when the earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour, this is what it looks like. Make that make sense.
You know, that's a very challenging topic until I got to 7th grade. Pretty much the same concept as like when you're in an airplane, you know what I'm saying? The airplane's going 600 miles per hour. But yet again, you can get up, you could walk, you can go to use the bathroom, you can eat some snacks, and not feel like you're going 600 miles per hour.
Welcome back to Wendy's. Fresh, never frozen. Well, mostly. You're gonna love what's inside this one. We fry everything in our special blend of seed oils and preservatives. Keeps it crunchy, even after it dies. We say it's never frozen, but you didn't think we really meant that, right? It's just marketing. Oh, this one's loaded with corn syrup, red 40, and phosphoric acid. Don't worry, it's FDA approved. Every bite is a mystery. Beef, soy, or something else? It's all part of the flavor adventure. Just look at our happy customers, full of joy, flavor, and a little bit of seed oil in every cell.
Where's the beef?
Never tell the dream people this.
Gotta say, this is something I've never done, and after doing some research, I don't think I will. This is a meme that's recently been gaining some traction on TikTok. There's a bunch of different videos of it with pretty much the same caption, "When you tell the dream people that you know you're dreaming," with a creepy video overlaid on the back. And while this seems pretty ridiculous, there is actually a small nugget of truth potentially in this. I'm assuming everybody watching this video knows what a dream is like. Usually you don't really have any control, and it's just a random preset outcome. But some people do have the ability to lucid dream, which is when you have the ability to control your dream, say what you want, and be where you want at any time. Pretty much just free reign. And terrifyingly enough, people that lucid dream frequently state that if they tell people that are in their dreams they're not real, they freak out, they become much more terrifying, and it's a lot more unpredictable. This can shift the course of an amazing dream setting into one that's a nightmare, so it's something you should never do. And I will say, most of the time when I have dreams, they are lucid. I'm able to control what's going on. This is still something I've never tried, and probably I won't, because I don't want to have nightmares.
I've lucid dreamed a couple times, and I've never been like, hey guys, I know this is fake. But honestly, just because of that video, I might end up trying it. If you guys ever lucid dream, let me know in the comments.
Oh, this is not the usual type of topic that I would talk about. However, this is pretty interesting, so I figured we might as well take a stab at it. This TikTok video that I got tagged in shows this man at the top of a mountain with another climber, and they find this very weird sheet of ice, then start throwing rocks onto it, and it's not really breaking the ice, and it's just kind of an interesting thing to look at. So a lot of people were wondering what causes this. So specifically what we're more than likely looking at is a frozen puddle, and this ring formation here is known as concentric rings. These rings can be formed in a variety of different ways, but for the most part what happens is the water will rapidly cool in the puddle. This will then cause cracks to form in the ice while it's turning into ice. More water gets pushed up between the cracks, this then freezes, and this happens over and over again, which creates that ring-like structure that we see here that looks really unique. A lot of the times when this happens, there's no water left over on the bottom either, so you just get this sheet of ice that's floating on air.
There is this guy who, mind you, is a grown man. He recently enrolled himself in high school and was like dating a bunch of girls at this high school. He's a grown-ass man.
Recently,
this year.
Whoa.
So he was a grown-ass man
posing as a teenager.
Acting like he was in high school still, yes. It was this guy named Kelvin Lubke. Pretty much the way that he did this was he found a way to like falsify these records or like basically paperwork so he would be able to go to the school. So he created all this fake stuff, got these people to believe it out there in Minnesota. They took his word for it. They saw all of it and was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. You can, go to the school. So this guy gets into the school. He originally was like homeless for a while too, which was like kind of weird. So he ends up going to this school. He attends like a bunch of classes like normal. Bro goes, he even joins the football team. And then surprisingly enough, bro, he even took like I think the girl was like 16 or something like that. He took a little girl to prom.
Whoa.
And, attended their prom as well, bro. The prom pictures are crazy.
You know, I'm really. Do you think he did a whole promposal and everything too?
I think he probably did.
Nah, that's bugging.
He went and like took the pictures, like her parents taking in the driveway.
Wow.
And then he was there for about, I think they said 20 days.
Until they noticed?
Until they noticed. It was some girl so happened to be on social media, and I think she was friends with the girl he went to prom with. She saw a picture of his mugshot on social media randomly.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The girl ended up telling like her parents or something like that, and then the parents ended up calling the authorities. So they found out everything he was doing, and then apparently, this is what I heard, that's not even the first school he did it to.
Whoa.
A year before at a different school that was like a couple miles away from that one.
Really?
And I guess that one they said he went there for like a whole year.
Wow.
And he didn't get caught at that.
What the
But you didn't pretend to be a teenager at the high school?
I had a different birth certificate on my other thing in Africa.
If bro wanted to be around girls and people that bad, he literally could have just went to college. Like,
This animal will if you take a picture with flash. Let me explain. This is a tarsier, the world's only entirely carnivorous primate. They're nocturnal hunters, so to find prey in the dark of night, tarsiers have evolved eyes that are so big they're bigger than their brain, in order to let in enough light to be able to see. They're so big that they can't even move them about in their eye sockets. So instead, they turn their head up to 180 degrees like an owl. Their eyes are so sensitive that a single camera flash can blind them for up to half an hour. And the stress caused often leads to them panicking and slamming their heads against hard surfaces. Being so tiny, their skulls are thin enough that just one impact can be fatal. Most tarsier species are classified as endangered or near threatened, so it's really important to have respect and tread carefully around them. There's a reason why sanctuaries ban flash photography. And you thought you were camera shy.
These are 4 animals you didn't know were best friends. First, ravens and wolves work together to hunt, where ravens will fly around looking for prey, then flying back to the wolves, getting their attention and leading them to the animal they saw, waiting for the kill and sharing the meal. Next, hermit crabs and an enemy basically team up together to survive. Since an enemy can't move fast, the crab will pick it up and equip it on its shell. The anemone helps defend the crab with its stinging tentacles, while the crab gives it much faster transportation and also shares scraps of its food every time it eats. Next, coyotes and badgers hunt together. Since coyotes are better at covering ground and badgers are better underground, the coyote will chase the prey on land, and if it goes under, the badger will take over, leaving the prey with no options or ways to escape, sharing their meal. Finally, humans and wild dolphins in Brazil work together to catch fish. The dolphins will find a school of fish and herd them towards the fishermen. When the fish are close, the dolphin will slap the water with its tail, signaling the fishermen to cast the net, causing the fish to scatter and get disorientated, so it's easier for the dolphins to catch, rewarding both of them.
it's crazy how smart dolphins really are. I feel like dolphins, when it comes to like the ocean, are kind of a man's best friend.
I just ordered me some food. I'm kind of losing my last brain cell in this car because I just want to know. I want to know how I've been sitting here eating this meat and I noticed a row of teeth in my shit. And that ain't it. They got the top and bottom jaw in my shit. I just sat here and ate this food and bit into somebody's molar. And I'm saying somebody because I don't know if there's an animal or a motherfucking human in this bowl of meat. Am I a cannibal? What is it, carnival? What the fuck is the word? What is going on? What's going on, honestly? A row of teeth?
Dude, I remember in my last video I was talking about how, you know what I'm saying, people finding teeth in food, I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt because you don't know if that's true. And then I remember someone in my comments was like, yeah, Fiddy, they've actually been finding teeth in food and it's actually crazy. And then I seen this video, I was like, oh, hell no. That did not look like an animal teeth whatsoever. Those are definitely human teeth. I wonder where she got that food from.
There ain't no fruit in this shit. Who wants some soggy ass Fruity Pebbles? Fruity Pebbles are a delicious way to start your day. So colorful and sweet, you'll be craving for more and more. I can't tell you what this is. It's definitely not arsenic. But don't worry, we wouldn't put it in here if it was bad for you. Ever wonder why this shit never goes bad? We have a special way to keep it fresh forever. Who doesn't love colors? We have all of them. They might give you ADHD or thyroid problems, but who cares? It's delicious. So what are you waiting for? Go get a bowl and fill it up with some of my sugary pebbles. Fruity Pebbles. No fruit, just poison.
Did you know that Selena Gomez allegedly hid the real reason behind her kidney transplant in 2017? Disney's biggest star shocked the world when she announced her lupus diagnosis and life-saving surgery. But according to conspiracy theorists, the lupus story allegedly covered up something far more sinister. Her best friend Francia Raisa donated the kidney, but the timeline allegedly contained major inconsistencies. Some claim Selena's kidney failure wasn't from lupus at all, but from alleged intentional poisoning. The theory suggests jealous industry rivals allegedly contaminated her makeup products with heavy metals. This allegedly happened right when she was renegotiating contracts and threatening to leave music. Believers point to her gradual health decline and the desperate search for a compatible donor as evidence. They claim she allegedly knows exactly who poisoned her, but stays silent for protection. Her medical records remain sealed, and questions about the real cause persist. The alleged cover-up involving her medical team and handlers continues to fuel speculation. Was it really lupus, or something much darker?
These are 4 animals that have the most brutal start to life after birth. First off, sea turtles. You hatch from an egg and are immediately thrown into chaos, needing to crawl over 100 feet through scorching hot sand trying to get to the water before getting eaten alive. Where seagulls and tons of other predators will attack and eat you before you even have a chance at life, having a 1 in 1,000 odds of survival. Even more brutal, the praying mantis. As soon as you're born, you crawl out of an egg case surrounded by hundreds of other baby mantis, entering a hardening stage, frozen in place, unable to move alongside hundreds of your starving siblings, when suddenly, after an hour of waiting, all of your bodies will be ready at once, putting you in the middle of a free-for-all war, eating each other alive and fighting for food, where only about 10 or 20 will survive. Even worse, the Galapagos marine iguana. As soon as you hatch, you crawl from the ground and realize that you're born on a snake-infested island, where dozens of racer snakes will instantly begin to chase you at full speed just after surfacing, needing to immediately learn how to run and survive over 100 feet to safety, often getting bit and fighting off piles of snakes ambushing you out of nowhere, having a 1 in 20 chance of survival. But worst of all, the wildebeest. You're born directly in the middle of an active herd and are surrounded by predators, where you literally have to learn how to run and stand within only 5 to 10 minutes. And if you can't figure out how to run in that short time period, your life is already over, where you'll usually get trampled and left behind with no protection, being eaten alive by predators.
What happens when the largest animal on the planet dies? When a whale dies, the entire ocean feels it. Its colossal body begins to float, inflated by gases that build up during decomposition. The smell is so strong it attracts hungry predators from miles away. Sharks, seabirds, and even deep-sea fish fight over every piece of its fat-rich flesh. But that is just the beginning. After a few days, the carcass loses its buoyancy, and then the giant sinks, slowly, like an elevator descending into the ocean's underworld. This phenomenon is known as a whale fall, and what happens down there is bizarre. In the deep, where sunlight never reaches, macabre creatures wait patiently. They devour what's left. Bone-eating worms called ossidax drill into the carcass like alien parasites. Meanwhile, flesh-eating bacteria multiply by the millions, turning the skeleton into a toxic ecosystem, bursting with life. A single death sustains an entire world. But the story of whales is even more mysterious. Did you know whales actually originated from a land animal? Around 50 million years ago, a strange mammal called Pachycetus walked on 4 legs across dry land. Over time, its descendants were drawn into the ocean. Their legs became fins, their nostrils migrated to the top of their heads, and they became the giants of the sea. The whale is the result of one of evolution's most dramatic transformations. And even today, scientists are still trying to uncover all the secrets behind this journey. If you found this fascinating, just wait until you find out what happens when a colossal squid dies. It holds more mystery than Point Nemo.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, can I see your sunglasses real quick?
So you're recording, right?
No, sir. Ever only very few times where people have successfully recorded inside the Church of Scientology. As Beavis and Butthead, we had to change that. It was to become a member of this religion and show what it's like to do so, which I did. Here's my membership card. You typically earn this within 3 to 6 months, and very rarely are things ever publicized at that point. Thankfully, we got caught at a point when we were not planning on visiting any longer. I was trying to play an outro on our way out, and I did, and it was hilarious. So we exit the building and I realized the glasses stopped recording. Let's go back and redo it. And so from there, all the Scientologists on the first floor end up circling around us. And it was at that point we knew we were gonna get Scientological meat slapped all over our face. And so he suggested on reviewing the footage by plugging in the glasses to the computer. Unlucky for them, I was more than confident when he pulled out the USB-C cable.
See this real quick.
You're not lying, right?
Yep.
There should be nothing really to worry about.
Though I manipulated my camera in a way where the footage could only pop up when I wanted to with a certain cable, which I'm gonna gatekeep that method because we have a lot of plans with this. After seeing nothing come up on his computer, he insists on trying every fucking cable in the facility. To let us know that if we don't give him the glasses, they are gonna call the cops. Call the cops. What are you gonna do? Take my belongings? You wanna take my V card while you're—
No, it's whatever. You could call the cops. They can come wherever they want.
Now, the only thing Scientologists fear more than exposure is taxes. So we had to crack a joke and say, my glasses name is Taxes. Do you really want to take my taxes? And then that's when things probably got a little bit more heated, but fuck it, we ran.
This video is going viral right now, and I'm not talking about this intro clip of the ice wall or Antarctica. I'm talking about a video from the 50s of Antarctica and them flying over it and seeing other
Bunger leans forward in amazement. His eyes have caught a sudden and unbelievable change in scenery. The universal white has turned to chocolate brown, dotted with blue. A cameraman goes into action. 300 square miles of land without snow. Land that might be in New Mexico or Arizona. Pictures alone will prove Bunger has discovered a warm oasis in the shadow of the pole. It is for such supreme moments as this that men brave the hardships of exploration. The astounding, undreamed of fact is that they are over a chain of warm water lakes, whose shores, except for small patches, are free of ice and snow. Commander Bunger circles the largest lake in sight, 5 miles long. He comes in to make a landing. Water temperatures must be recorded. Samples taken. He finds the water fresh. Temperature 38 degrees Fahrenheit. On the shores are vast deposits of coal and of minerals of the utmost importance to civilization. Whose mountain ranges with peaks 20,000 feet above sea level.
Now, this video is not AI, although the source of it is said to have leaked from some archive. All I know is that when human freedom is truly restored, and we are allowed to go beyond the ice wall, videos like this, but in full HD, not recorded with a potato, will blow our freaking minds. New trees, new species of animals, and possibly new races of people previously thought to be coming from either the stars or totally unknown to our natural world here, but exist beyond the realm of what is allowed for us to explore. The Antarctic Treaty, man, you gotta do a deep dive. Project, Fishbowl Project, there's another one where they've explored and found things, and it's all classified, but we've heard leakings of the truth of what they found there, and it's absolutely shocking. There's so much more to this realm that we live in than what we may think. Comment your thoughts below and follow for more.
Antarctica, man. Antarctica is definitely a weird spot. I remember Mr. Beast talking about it, and he was hella hesitant to even speak on it. He was always talking about how there had to be people there with them. And I don't know, man. I feel like Antarctica has some weird stuff about it. I'm probably going to end up live streaming soon and doing a deep dive on Antarctica. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments.
I've been very vocal about this when it comes to pool covers. Most of the time my stance is that it's not a good idea to play around with them. This clip appears to show a practical joke taking place in this pool. There are 3 people inside, the pool cover starts closing, and it's due to this one guy that's out of frame here that pushes the cover closed. And again, as I've talked about before, running across pool covers, not a great idea. That's because if you fall underneath the cover, pushing out will not allow you to break free. The water is going to get carried up with it, and you're not going to be strong enough anyways. So that being said, this has to be the first video I've ever seen in a pool, something like this taking place, where I'm not actually concerned. There's clearly a lot of space below this pool cover for them to be screaming and yelling out, therefore they're able to breathe. It would not be funny though if they had one of these electric pool covers and they closed it on them. Otherwise, they would indeed drown. So this kind of scenario, yeah, go for it, it's in good fun. This kind of thing though, a lot more questionable, much more risky.
Things that are way bigger than you think.
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit. Run, run, run. 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 Run, rabbit, run, rabbit. Run, run, run.
Not gonna lie, I never knew cruise ships were bigger than the Titanic.
Woman is the only female police officer to ever be sentenced to death in the history of America. And her story is absolutely insane. So this lady's name is Antoinette Frank, right? She grew up living primarily with her father. There were reports of SA, of physical abuse. There were even reports of people saying when she showed up places with her father, it looked like they were in a relationship. So it was reported that her father just vanished one day and that he just up and left and she had no idea where he went. She reported him missing. He was never seen again. In 1992, she had applied to be a cop with the New Orleans Police Department. She was originally denied because the psychologist determined that she had several mental disabilities, but somehow she got the job. So this is 1992. 1994, she meets this kid who is a gang member, right? So he ends up getting shot and she was the first responder to come and assist him. Legend has it that as soon as she laid eyes on this like 16-year-old boy, she fell in love with him. She paid for everything for him. She took him out all the time. There were reports of him driving her police cruiser around the city. So she worked part-time as a security guard at this restaurant called the Kim On. And she wasn't the only cop that did. A lot of cops did. One day, she just showed up with her sidekick and they decided that they were going to rob the place. Apparently things went wrong. She ended up shooting and killing 3 of the people that owned the restaurant. 2 of the people that were there ended up running and hiding in a freezer, right? So they didn't get killed. It was reported that this was an extremely brutal execution style murders, right? After they did this, they got in the car. She went and dropped him off at home. And then she ran down to the police station and said, "Oh my God, I heard a report that there were people shot where I work. I need a cruiser to go and investigate." So she runs back over to the store and then she says, "What happened? What happened? Like, I need to do an investigation and I'm here to help you." The survivor said, "Why are you asking me what happened? You were here." That's when it all started to unfold, right? She ended up being convicted of the murders, but that's not the end of the story. While she was in prison, police got a hint from a search dog at her house. They start digging, and under her house, they find a skull. And it was believed to be the same age, and it could very possibly be her father. The New Orleans Police Department never tested the bones to see who they belong to. It's just an unconfirmed skull that nobody knows. And it's the only female officer in the history of this country to ever be sentenced to death.
Bro, to do a crime and then play like you didn't do it, that's evil, bro. I feel like she kind of deserved that.
How would you go about killing people?
Well, first of all, it got to be the right price. They pay the right ticket. Well, they got underground black markets numbers that you can call, and they'll tell you it's a ticket in your area. And they'll say, "Well, it's a ticket in Miami." And I said, "Well, I want 2 of them tickets." And they'll say they'll tell me the price of the tickets. And then I know the name of the individuals, and then I just act like a normal person in the neighborhood, and they don't know me. I get a girl from somewhere that they don't even know, and I set them up with a girl. And I had a girl that like she liked them, and she don't even know them, and he don't know her. And we get back to the motel, I follow him. I killed both of them. I killed the girl too. That was just part of life then.
And how do you do it?
Well, I was trained to just shoot him in the head. 3 shots in the head. So anybody I was ever accused of killing, that became my trademark.
He said even the girl too. The girl did absolutely nothing, man. That's crazy. I mean, he probably got convicted and arrested and served his time already. That's why he can openly just say it, which is still weird because you'd think someone like this would get a life in prison.
Do you know there's a story about a woman who took a few heavy hits of salvia and spent 45 years as paint on a living room wall? At first, she didn't understand what she was, just that she could see. Eventually, she realized she was a layer of beige paint above a couch, fixed in place, watching the same family live their lives. The father coughed constantly, deep and ragged, while the mother talked to herself through every task, complaining more to the air than to anyone listening. The TV blared all day, filling the house with noise that blended together until it became background static. The kids grew from noisy, sticky-fingered blurs to silent strangers who barely came home. The parents aged in the same spot on the same couch, until one day the father simply didn't return to it. The mother lasted a few more years, talking to herself in half sentences, moving slower and slower. Then one day she was gone too, and the house stayed empty until new voices arrived, people with buckets, rollers, and drop cloths. The moment the first stroke of paint covered her, everything went white. She woke up on her couch, drenched in sweat, heart racing, the world suddenly loud and fast. It took days before she could convince herself that only minutes had passed, that the 45 years she'd spent watching that family fading under their lives hadn't really been centuries ago. But she remembered it all perfectly. Every detail, every sound, every year that had felt real enough to live.
Yo, that's wild, man. This is exactly why we do not promo things like that, because, dude, you know how much of a mind freak that would be for someone?
Thank you all for watching this here video.